Hi, my name is Dallas Barner, and today I'm going to tell you a story about a problem that I kind of started. This was a problem that was due to my situation, and I'm also going to tell you about situations that occur due to other problems. I'm going to talk about my son today. He was 45 years old when he passed away, and it was in 2011. My son had ALS. Similar to Lou Gehrig's disease. It happens when the brain starts disconnecting, first with language, and then it's just a snowball effect and starts affecting everything. My son had problem walking, and when I brought him home, he could barely walk. And after 3 years, he passed away. But what I want to talk about today is the chair that I wanted to get for him. I felt bad for him, but I was patient and I wanted to get him something, but I decided the chair would help make his life easier and more comfortable, and I wanted him to have it. It was a scooter, and it was a chair that can buzz around. And I called so many places using video relay looking for a chair like this. And finally I found one. It was a company that sold scooters. I think this was the second year. So they came and they had to first evaluate my son because they had to make sure that he was qualified for that type of chair so the insurance could help pay for it. So I told him, I want you to have this scooter. It'll make your life so much easier. You can just sit in it and it rides around. And my son said, no, I don't want that. It's too fancy. I think the name of the chair was the power chair. You had to see the picture to understand. It was made by a famous electrician. The chair was very large though, and my home is small, so I think it would be hard to maneuver around. But I wanted my son to have freedom. Freedom is something that I really wanted for my son. So as time went on, all the tests were taken, and they told me that my son was indeed qualified for the chair, and that insurance would help. So I waited and waited, week after week. Then they told the insurance that he qualified. They had to take measurements. My wife had to help. My wife, Margaret, waited. It was 1 week, 2 weeks. Before I knew it was 5 weeks later. And finally the machine arrived after about 12 weeks and he was ready to use it. So I waited, and after another 2 weeks, someone came and put it all together. And then someone said that someone would come out and train us how to use it. So finally someone came out, an interpreter. So we took my son and we helped him get in the chair. My son enjoyed it. He was getting the feel of it. There was a little hand stick that would help him maneuver. But he had a slow reaction time. But sometimes, yeah, he had a slow reaction time. So when he would go to press forward, sometimes his head would bob back and forth. And I said, do you want to continue with the wheelchair? And he said, no, I don't want. So we waited another couple weeks. So then another person came out, and finally, after many weeks, an interpreter came and helped us figure that out. And then my son was like, okay, I'm good. So the people that came helped us with the chair, I told them to go home. And then my son wanted to sit down. The chair was very expensive. The chair was about $4,000. When my son passed away, I called the company and told them, what am I supposed to do with this chair? And they told us, it's your chair. We have nothing to do with that chair anymore. And I thought, what? It's just in our way. Can we sell the chair? And they said, yeah, you can. However, the chair was made especially for my son. It was customized for him. So if you sell to somebody else, they're going to have to recustomize it for the other person. So me and my wife were stuck basically with this chair, and we were trying to contact so many people to try to get it out of the way. And I was thinking, what could I do? And but the chair was for my son's freedom. Same thing with a cochlear implant. People in that kind of business in the medical field, such as doctors, I jumped through hoops to get that chair. The insurance, same with the insurance with a cochlear implant. Is there a magic trick for clothes? It's like invisible information. Like, oh, you can't see this? You can't see this? What's wrong with you? It's the same thing when they're not familiar with the deaf community. Most of the people you have to look at and say, oh, didn't you read it already? But all before that, how did a deaf person grow up? You have to look all the way before that. That's how I see the problem.